on CS 575. This time we'll be talking about regression. We did already talk about regression, but there were some mistakes in the lecture which were pointed out. So I am re-recording the lecture with another set of examples. Right? So let us directly delve into the example here. So if you remember in the constant model, we dealt with values like right, and the time period was 2004 and 2009. Here what we said is this model can be represented as a constant model because we don't see a trend plus an epsilon error that takes care of the variation, having a mean of 0 and a variance of sigma square. Right? So, of course, the constant model along with the exponential smoothing model gave us a very good fit, a decent enough, but there were some issues with it. The issues were, for example, if for the same period you have data like this. So let's say 26, 28, 29, 31, 32, 35. Now you can see there is a trend here, right? So the trend basically 26, 28, 29, 31, 32, 35, and this is an increasing trend. So even on normal human our abilities, right, we can actually see that this is an increasing trend. So any human being who just sees these set of numbers will actually have a number greater than 35. Right? But in the constant model, since it is more biased, not biased actually, it tries to settle the data towards the centrality. So it will take the average of this value, so it will be roughly between 29 and 30, and predict a value 30. Right? So the constant models cannot be applied here because if you see this is kind of a trend series. Right? The data is increasing in this fashion. So this is kind of a trend series. So you cannot have exponential smoothing models and you cannot have the constant model for prediction of trend data. So what is the solution for it? One of the solution is regression, and we also see another model which is known as Holt's model in the later lecture. Right? So now what happens? Let us try to plot these. So this is the time and this is the demand. So we have 2004. I am just writing the last numeral. So 2004 was 28. So make it 29. 31 is a bit up, then 32, and then let us give this 35. So these are the 5 points. Now you can see from the coordinates itself that they are not collinear. That is, I cannot fit a single line that can fit all the points. So now you have two options here. So the two options are either you fit a line that covers maximum points. Fit a line that covers max points. Second, fit a line that best represents. We will look at the word represents the n. In this case, n is equal to 6 because we have 6 data points. So we have two approaches here. So fit a line that covers maximum points. So I will try, like for example 31 and 32. Okay? I can make a line that passes through 2 points, or I can make a line that passes to another set of 2 points, right? So I will try to fix the maximum points, but in literature you do not follow this approach, right? So in the last lecture I had said this, so by mistake. So you do not follow this approach, you follow the second one. So fit a line that best represents. Now what does the word represent mean, right? So now let me draw a line through this. So when I will draw a line through this, you can see some points will be on the line and some points are not on the line, right? So some points are on the line and some points are not on the line. So you can see for this particular point, the error, the distance between this point and the green line is the error basically. So the model will actually say for 2005 the data is the point which lies on the green line, but in actual the point is the blue point, because we know in 2005 we had 28. Okay, so this is our trend. So now we need to minimize that error, right? So what does the best fit line say? The best fit line says, okay, try to plot a line, right? Try to plot a line such that the distances, so in the last lecture I said the distances was the perpendicular distance. It is not the perpendicular distance, it is the distance of the y ordinate, right? Because what happens, this is our x, right, and this is our y, right? When we plot a two-dimensional thing, we take our times as x and the data corresponding as y, x and y, right? So this line basically you know is a standard line equation. We can say y is equal to, we can say b into t plus a, right? So there are many ways. People also represent it as y is equal to mx plus c. So c basically is the y coordinate. So if I extend this line, this is c, or in the second notation this can be also written as a. This angle, so when I extend this particular line and I just see the theta, theta basically is the angle this line makes with the x-axis. So theta basically is the angle the line makes with the x-axis. So this theta is either given by, so theta is equal to m, or in the other notation is equal to b, right? So in this notation I have taken bt because we are dealing with time series and x basically is the time coordinate, right? So what happens, for example, for this point or this particular point, or let us even take a virtual point here. So we need to minimize the errors of these points from the line. What does minimizing the error? So for example, again we had done the derivative thing, so we will do it again in this case. So what happens here is, like, y is the actual point and let's say we have y hat. Y hat is the predicted one. So basically, for example, if you see this blue point, this is the actual point, right? But our prediction line, our regression line says that this line is basically that actual point that is predicted by the line. So this point is basically y hat. Now you can see the actual point and the predicted point, they have some gap here, right? Some gap here. So this is below the line, so we say as a negative gap. It is above the line, we say as a positive gap. So now if you only take the simple difference, right, or if you take even first, okay, let us take the simple difference. If you take a simple difference, the positives and the negative errors will actually cancel out each other. So they will give zero error also. To avoid that, what we do a squaring term. Squaring also helps us basically in the form that we cannot differentiate it. A linear function although derivable, but it reduces to a constant value, right? Like for example, the derivative of 5x is 5, but the derivative of 6x is 6, something like this, right? Now see, let us define our error function j. J is equal to y minus y hat. Y hat is predicted and y is actual. So now what I can do, I will do j minus, what was y hat? Let me keep this as y hat. Y hat was bt plus a. B is the slope, right? The tan theta, right? So when tan theta is equal to b, you can compute b as tan inverse b. So this will basically give the angle theta. So what I am doing, I am substituting bt plus a. bt plus a, and the square remains. Right. Just a quick revision. Now we will do a differentiation, but see, now you have two parameters. We have the slope and also we have the intercept. So we have the slope, which is m or b, and we have the intercept, c or a. Right. So for example, if you have a function fx is x square plus y square. So there is a term known as partial differentiation. I hope you must have done +2. So what we do, so let's say if I say partial differentiation of the function with respect to x, right? So when I am differentiating with respect to x, any term that does not have a x will be treated as constant. So differentiation of x square becomes 2x, right? So let me take this as y cube. This will be 0, right? Because this has no x term associated with it. Since I am partially differentiating, I will make the y as 0. Similarly, if I partially differentiate with respect to y, the x will become constant and the partial differentiation of y will become this one. So it was y cube. So I bring the power down and reduce this power by 1, 3y square. So this was just a quick introduction to the differentiation. Okay. So now what do you want? Ideally, you want this value to be close to this value, right? So that our prediction and the actual are same, right? So now what we will do, we will try to differentiate this function. We want to minimize this, right? So we differentiate this function and make the result to 0. And then we will try to find out basically at what values this gives us the minimum distance. And that is our regression line. So we will be seeing in the example slowly. So now let me just erase this. So we will be doing the proof once again. So first I will differentiate with b, right? So I am partially differentiating with respect to b. So now if you can see, this particular function is of the form u square, something of u square, right? So u square can be written as u into u, right? So whenever you remember the differentiation rule, for example, if you have a product of two things and you are differentiating, right? So you do a differentiation of u keeping v as constant, and then you differentiate v keeping u as constant. Right. So what I will do, I will first, in this case u and v both are same. So what basically this will reduce to u into du by dx plus du by dx. So it will remain 2 into u du by dx, right? Because u and v are same in this case, right? This u square, right? So it is u into u. So it is 2 into u. So basically this is our u. So now let me differentiate, right? So I am differentiating with respect to b. So dou j by dou b, because I am differentiating with respect to b, is 2 into u. What was u? U is this entire term. I am just expanding the bracket bt minus a, because it's a negative sign, both will be negative, into now differentiating, right? In this case we are differentiating with respect to b. So all the non-b terms will be 0 because they are constant. So y will be constant, this is 0, minus, so b into t, I am differentiating with respect to b, so this will become the t, and then minus a, again a constant, so it will be minus 0. And since I want to minimize this, I will make the LHS as 0, right? So I will make this as 0. Okay, sorry guys, I forgot one thing. This is only for one point, right? If I have n points, so I will have to make it I is equal to 1 to n, right? So this again goes from I is equal to 1 to n. If I have only one point, then I need to minimize this. Because I have n points, I need to run the loop for n times. So I am doing the summation. Fine. Now what happens? Since the left hand side is 0, I can bring the constant out. I is equal to 1 to n. Now you can see that this is only minus t, right? So this 0 and this 0 is cancelled. So for simplification, I am bringing this minus sign also outside the bracket. So this becomes minus 2 and I'm rearranging, right? Y minus bt minus a into t. Okay, so this is done. Now what we will do, this minus 2 will get cancelled, and now again I am arranging. So summation of y I is equal to 1 to n, then minus b is a constant, right? Okay, this will become actually yt minus summation of bt square I equal to 1 to n minus at, right? I is equal to 1 to n, and this is 0. Right. So let me just check once again. Okay, so then rearranging this, b into t squared okay. So arranging this, so bringing both the negatives on the left hand side, I have summation of bt square I is equal to 1 to n plus summation of at I is equal to 1 to n is equal to summation of I is equal to 1 to n, and then I have the y into t, right? So basically the t's here are this thing, the t's here are our times, and y's are our the y values, fine. So similarly, since now we have differentiated with respect to b, I am now differentiating with respect to a also. So what will this become? I hope this is visible in the camera. Oh. So what would dou j by dou a, right? Summation I is equal to 1 to n I do 2 y minus a bt minus a, and then when I am differentiating with respect to a, this will become 0, this will become 0, and this will become minus 1. 0 minus 0 minus 1. Fine. So now let me just expand. Because I want to minimize, I will keep the left hand side as 0. Left hand side as 0, you can see this is a minus 1 sign, both are 0. So I will bring minus 2 outside the bracket. I is equal to 1 to n. And then just keep the term minus y minus bt minus a. Remember that a is the constant, you have seen this. So this is the a value, which is a constant value, right? So minus 2 will get cancelled here. If I divide everything by minus 2, this remains 0, this will go again here, and both the negatives I will rearrange to the left hand side. So see, this will be the expression. I is equal to 1 to n, minus bt on this side will become plus bt, minus a on this side will become plus a, right? Sorry, this is up to n, and I is equal to 1 to n of y. Right? Now if you see, I can rearrange this, so I can take the constant b out. I is equal to 1 to n plus summation of, so a is a constant value, on adding a n times this becomes n into a, and this is just summation of y values, right? So now this is our equation 1, and this is our equation 2. simplicity, let us do one thing for simplifying the calculations. What I am doing, I am making the time as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Right? And this is our trend data. So this time is x and this is trend data y. Right? And I have two equations here. So now let us try to solve it. So let me erase this. I can make the table here. So now if you see, what values do I need? I need the value of t square. I need the value of t, which I have. Right? I need the value of y into t, which again I have. Right? So let me just rewrite the same table here. Right? So I am having y and t. So this is our time. Time is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in the last value I will keep a summation. So 6 into 7, 42 divided by half is 21. AP series n into n plus 1 by 2. Then I have a y. Y is 26, 28, 29. 26, 28, 29. 31, 32, 35. 31, 32, 35. Right? Summation of y basically is 181. Now we will do 2 in t into y. T into y is 1 into 26 is 26, 2 into 28 is 56 and so on. 87, 124, 160, 110. The summation comes out to be 663. And then we have t square. So 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 25, 36 and the summation. The summation here is 91. Right? Now you just do a simple substitution. So let me make this as equation A and let me make this as equation B. Right? Remember A and B are constants. Right? So let me just remove this form of equation. So now this is only A. This is A and basically tan theta is equal to B. B is associated with the slope. Now let us rewrite the equation A. Equation A will be B t square, right? B is a constant and summation of I is equal to 1 to n. We have 6 points here, so n the value is 6. So what is summation t square? Summation t square is 91. So B into 91 plus I equal to 1 to n summation of t. A is a constant. Summation of t is summation of all t values, which is 21, is equal to y into t, right? T into y is this column, is equal to 663. What is B? B as an equation. B is B into summation of t. What is summation of t? Which is 21. Plus, we have n into a, right? N into a. What is n in our case? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have a into 6. And on the right hand side, we have summations of y. Summations of y is 181. So now we have two linear equations involving a and b. Right? You can simply solve them using your calculator or by hand. So you will have the values of b and a. So b in this case is 1.68 and c in this case is 24.26. Sorry, a in this case. So if you see, a we had written here is this 24.26. And what was our b? B is tan theta. So that means tan theta is equal to b is equal to 1.68. So theta is equal to tan inverse 1.68, which is basically is equal to, you can use a trigonometric inverse calculator, 59.23. So this means that our equation y is equal to bt. So b is 1.68 t plus A is 24.626. This is our best fit line, right? So this is our best fit line. Now for example, if I want to predict what will be the value for 7. So when t is equal to 7, we basically put t is equal to 7 in this equation. Y is equal to 1.68 plus 24.26, just changing the color, into 7 because the period is 7. Right? If the period is 50, so I put 50 here. And this basically comes out to be 36.06. Right? So now you can see when I make this 36.06, it makes some sense, right? You can see the trend is getting continued. If it were a constant model, let's say a mean model would have given a value of 30. Right? Because it's a trend, you can see that linear regression is showing the trend, right? This line is moving upwards, showing with the data. So this is the advantage of linear regression, right? So linear regression will have at least a trend continuing in this direction, right? So this is not something which is magical, because it may so happen that the trend may actually fall in future. So that we are not considering in this case. We are just seeing that when the data is showing a trend, linear regression can predict somewhere which shows the trend continuity, right? So I hope the proof of this is already clear now. I will just delete the last lecture video just to avoid confusion. So in this case, we have dealt with regression. Thank you for